Never stop reading the Bible.
We're going to explore 4 powerful chapters from the prophet Zechariah. It's this incredible message that starts with a pretty simple question about a religious ritual, and, well, it ends with a vision that changes everything. So let's set the scene. We're in Jerusalem, and the people are hard at work rebuilding their sacred temple. Things are looking up, and they come to the prophet with what seems like a totally reasonable question. Hey, should we keep doing this traditional fast we've been doing? It sounds super sincere, right? But the answer they get, man, it just cuts right through all the ceremony and gets to the real issue, the massive gap between what they were doing and what was actually in their hearts.
And this brings us to the core of the problem God points out. See, the issue wasn't their piety itself. It was what all that religious activity was covering up. Their routines, their rituals, they'd become a stand-in for real, genuine justice. It created this, dangerous disconnect between how they worshipped and how they actually lived their lives.
I mean, look at this contrast. The people are all hung up on this one ritual, right? This fast they've been doing for ages. But God just completely flips the script on them. He basically asks, listen, when you were fasting all those years, was it really for me or is it for you? And then, bam, he pivots to what he actually cares about: true justice, mercy, and compassion for one another.
And here's the kicker. This wasn't some new memo. That's what made it so urgent. God has to remind them, hey, you guys, this exact same stuff, ignoring justice, forgetting about the vulnerable, this is what got your ancestors into so much trouble in the first place. Their prayers went nowhere, they got scattered among the nations, and their beautiful homeland was left desolate. I mean, the stakes could not be higher. This was their chance to finally break that cycle.
But then, right when the message is at its most intense, everything changes. The whole tone just does a complete 180. After that really stark reminder of the past, God pivots from this stern warning to an absolutely incredible, breathtaking vision of what's to come. So instead of more punishment, what does God promise? A complete and total renewal. He says, I am coming back to live with you in Jerusalem. And we're not talking about just patching things up here. No, this is a complete transformation. Their city, which had been marked by injustice, is going to be known as the City of Truth. What a turnaround. And this transformation he's talking about, it's going to touch every single part of their lives. Think about it. Socially, the streets will be so safe that old men and women can just sit out and kids can play freely. What a picture of peace, right? Economically, the land is going to be fruitful again. And spiritually, this is so cool. Those fasts of sorrow that started this whole conversation, they're going to become joyful feasts. Their city will become this beacon of hope, drawing people from all over the world to find God. But here's the catch. This amazing future, it wasn't just a done deal. It was a choice they had to make. To get these blessings, they had to start living them out right now. They were being called to actually do the things God demanded from the very beginning, speak truth to each other, and practice the kind of justice that leads to real, lasting peace. Then, the vision gets even bigger. It zooms out, looking way beyond their immediate future, to the ultimate fulfillment of all these promises. And the key to all of it? It all comes down to the arrival of a new leader, and a very, very different kind of king. So, the prophecy starts talking about the coming of this figure, a savior known as the Messiah. This is the anointed one who's going to establish God's kingdom on earth, not just for a little while, but in a final, definitive way. Okay, you have to pay close attention to how this king is described, because it's pretty revolutionary for the time. He's not some big, conquering warrior showing up on a war horse. No way. The text says he's righteous and victorious, sure, but his power is shown through humility. He comes lowly, and he's riding on a donkey, which was the ancient symbol of peace. And it's this humble king's reign that will finally bring about that complete restoration we were talking about. He's the one who will set the captives free and bring back all the scattered people. He's the one who will give them strength and joy. And it's all going to be through a power that comes straight from God, not from, human armies or clever strategies. So we're left with this really powerful, kind of mind-bending image, right? A king whose victory comes from being righteous and whose strength is shown in being humble. It's a challenge that's just as relevant today as it was then. It really makes you stop and ask yourself, where do we think real power and true leadership come from? It's a question that forces us to look past all the outward stuff and get to the heart of what really matters. This explainer was produced by The Center Studio.